So, how's everyone tonight? Right, let's have a look. I've got a here looking for the chat and comments. So how's everyone tonight? Right, I'm just going to wait to see if we can get a few comments. Yeah, you heard that. I thought so. It tickled his funny bone. Right, we got anyone coming on? Doot, doot, doot. Right, I've shuffled that one enough. I'll shuffle this one now. Right, if anyone's on and wants a reading, just put it in the comments and I'll happily do your reading. Right, I'm not seeing if anyone's on. Here we go. Hi Mandy, how are you? Hope you're well. Right, if you want a reading, Mandy, just say the word and I'll happily give you one. Well, I'll try my best anyway. Okay, I'm sitting here in silence. Is anyone wanting a reading? I keep missing you on Wednesdays. What with work? No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, please. That's good. Right. Let's have a look and see what we're doing tonight. Right. Let's have a look. Hi, Lisa. Yep, you can have a reading. Yep. I'm just doing Mandy at the moment. Right, Mandy. Right. I have a lady here, and she's actually a mother figure. If she's not your mum, which I believe she is actually, but if she wasn't your mum, she was very close to you. You know, she helped bring you up. That's how close I want to say she is, but I do believe it's your mum. So if you can sort of verify that or whatever for me, Mandy, please. Right, this lady, she wasn't old when she passed. I want to say she was only in her 60s. And 60s was pushing it, if that makes sense. Yeah, your mum. Okay, right. She's a lovely lady. She's coming through with a really positive energy. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like a really loving, warm, positive energy. But she's telling me she wasn't always positive. She had her ups and downs. She had her bad times, excuse me, as well as her good times. She's also saying that sometimes the not so good times were overwhelming. But she's saying you'll understand that. She says because you was with her through a lot of that times. She's also saying that you're the same sort of nature as her, and you take things to heart very, very easily. Yep, this is Mum. Thank you. Yeah, you take things to heart very, very easily, and she was like that. She would take things to heart very easy, and sometimes even picking things up slightly wrong, because she was picking it up like it was personal, if that makes sense. And although not everything is personal, she used to take it personal. She's saying that you do exactly the same. And this is what she's wanting to come through. This is what she's wanting to say to you, Mandy. There's something recently that you've picked up that it's personal and it's not personal. Do you understand this? She's saying that there's something going on in your life at the moment, and you're taking it to heart too much. We clashed a lot, but we loved each other. Yeah. She's saying that she could be what's the word? Opinionated, if that makes sense. But she took things to heart, and this is what she's coming through to say to you. There's something going on with you at the moment, and you're taking it to heart, and she's asking you not to take it to heart. She says because it really wasn't meant for you, and it wasn't meant in the way that you're taking it. Do you understand that? She's saying something very, very recently, and she's obviously letting you know that she's around you when she's hearing that as well. Right, I'm just waiting for you. I think I'm on a wee bit of a lag, but you're not sure, Sarah. Okay. Right, give me a bit of something else, or a bit more in depth in the conversation. Right. Right, I don't know why she's given me this, Mandy, but she's given me, I can't work out if this is a theatre or a cinema. Now, why she's given it to me, I'm not 100% sure. She'll, if I keep on talking, she'll maybe drop it in what she's given it me for. Could there have been a disagreement about the cinema? That sounds very, I don't know, it sounds quite basic, if that makes sense. Jeez, it's warm. I'm not quite sure what way it sounds, to be perfectly honest, but she's given me, like, if you're sitting at the back of the cinema and you're looking down and you're seeing the curtains, she's given me that view for some reason. Does that make any sort of sense to you, Mandy? I've no idea why she's given me that view. As I say, unless it's some sort of disagreement about the cinema. Right, I was made redundant and took it personally. Okay, this has had an impact on my new job. I have to do presentations now. Right, okay. Right. I wonder if the theatre or the cinema was like a symbol for like presentations and that. Okay, right. In a funny sort of way, it makes sense, but we'll dig deeper. Hang on. Okay. Okay, right. She didn't keep well health. She's talking about like stress related illness, stress related. She seemed to be like, she's putting it across that she was under an awful lot of stress, unless I'm picking it up wrong and it's you that's under the stress. But I do believe that she's talking about that she was under a lot of stress at one point, and it played a big part in her, in her decline, if that makes sense. She was very unwell with mum. She didn't have it easy. Yeah, that's what I'm getting, as I say. And I don't know if it's stress or anxiety that I'm picking up. In fact, I think it's anxiety that I'm picking up. She was an anxious woman who didn't like change, if that makes sense. She had to have everything just so, and I don't mean like OCD. I don't mean ornaments in the same place and things like that. I'm talking about she had to know what her next move was, or it stressed her out. She had to know exactly what was happening on a daily basis, or it stressed her out. And that stress that she was going through or went through actually played a big part in making her ill. Does that make sense to you? She's talking about, okay, right, she's talking about some sort of, she held a resentment for someone. I hope I'm saying this right. She's talking about holding a resentment, okay? And she's talking about, she had to go to hospital. She didn't take it well, knowing she wasn't going home. Okay, right, that makes sense. As I say, she's very anxious about something. But she's also talking about, she resented something or someone. I believe it's something rather than someone. And she's saying about holding on to this resentment is like, and she's actually saying it's like holding on to hot coals. The only person that burns is you. So this is either part of the message about you holding on to some sort of resentment, maybe about your job or whatever. And she doesn't want to see you get burnt, if that makes sense. Yeah, not going home. Okay, right. As long as you understand it, that's the main thing, Mandy. As I say, she's coming across as like, she's warm-hearted, because I'm feeling sort of warm in my chest. But there's just something I just can't put my finger on, that I don't think it's, you know how some people's lovely until you cross them. I don't think it's that with her. I just think it's this anxious way about her. That's what I honestly think. Yeah, the message is to say I need to let my passes go, which I am working on. Past insecurities. Okay, because everything that she's talking about seems to come back to you, if that makes sense. It's like she's talking about, earlier on, and everything, as I say, seems to be turned around to you. So everything she's bringing through about herself, she's trying to help you, if that makes sense. And that's all she wants. She's just saying just now, all she wants is the best for you. That's all she ever wanted, was the best for you. But she found it very hard to talk about that sort of stuff. But that's all she ever wanted, and that's all she ever still wants, is the best for you. And with that, Mandy, I'll leave her love with you, because she is sort of, she's not fading, but I'm losing the link with her. But as I say, I'll leave your love, and thank you so much for working with me, Mandy. Okie doke. Right. Right, where else was I? Right, Lisa, if you're still here, I'll if you could. She wants me to live stress-free and a happy life. She has all she ever wanted. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, right. Who did I say it was? Was it Lisa Bannister? Yes, it was. Right, that's perfect. Right, I'll put that card down and we'll. Right, 2 ticks and we'll see if we can get through. Right. Okay. Right. Lisa. Right, okay. There's a lady come through for you, Lisa, and she's right. This lady never reached old bones. Definitely not. I reckon she was only, I want to say 40s when she passed. And I believe she's on either an auntie link or a friend of one of you, like your mum, something like that. I want to go with auntie, to be perfectly honest with you, is what she's telling me. Or she could be, as I say, a friend who you sort of was brought up with, to call her auntie. A lot of people's like that. But she's definitely saying auntie, and she's given me the name. Right, wow. I was just about to say she's given me the name Jill, and two seconds later, the name Jill appeared on the comments. Okay, she's given me the name Jill for some reason, Lisa. Jill or Jillian. But I believe it's with a J and not a G. Okay. This lady's talking about, she tried her best to keep fit. She tried her best to be healthy. She tried her best to be, like, she had a healthy diet. She used to go do her exercises, and she's talking about doing yoga. Yoga? Yeah, I think she was into yoga. The way she's sitting and posing. Okay. Does that make any sort of sense to you, Lisa? This lady was in her 40s, and as I say, she tried her best to be healthy, exercise, healthy food, and to live healthily, I suppose. As I say, she wasn't into drinking and partying and that sort of thing. She was into like spirituality, yoga, and that sort of stuff. Does that make any? Do you understanding that at all, Lisa? As I say, if you could pop, I think maybe there is a slight lag, but if you could pop your answer down, please. Right, I can't think of a Jill or Gillian, but have aunties in spirit. Okay. Right, the Jill or Gillian might have been the fact that I'd picked up that there was going to be a Jill commenting. That sounds silly, but as I say, it was just like a split second before Jill Bolcom commented. So that might have just been with that. So we'll push that name to one side. But the auntie you have in spirit, as I say, was she the type of lady, as I say, who tried to keep good health, who tried to, as I say, eat well, do her exercise, and as I say, was sort of spiritual in her own way? Because as I say, that's the lady I've got through, and she certainly wasn't overweight or anything. She was pretty petite in her size, and she had, I want to say dark hair. And as I say, she was pretty petite. She was spiritual and healthy and small. Yes, yeah, perfect. Thank you. As I say, she wasn't tall at all. She wasn't tall, but she was quite short. But she was, everything was in proportion, if that makes sense. Yeah, and she was very spiritual, Right, she's talking about some sort of journey. I don't know if you've got a journey ahead of you, or um, yeah, it might be a journey of minds. She's given me the word journey. Okay, so I take it that you're either traveling somewhere, you're either going on holiday, you're maybe moving somewhere, or um, she's given me, as I say, the word journey. But I'm wondering if it's actually like your own spiritual journey that she's talking about. Two ticks, and I'll ask her. This woman was a this woman was a thinker. She was either a no, I was going to say she was either a thinker or you're a thinker, but I actually, it's her that's the thinker. She was a thinker more than a thinker and a doer more than talking about it. She thought about it and done it rather than telling everyone what she was doing. She just done it and got. Um, that's just the way she was, if that makes sense. So yeah. Hi, Facebook user from here. I can't see your name, I'm afraid. I think Stace should put it up about if you want your name to come up and want a reading. I think Stace will put it up to say that. Sorry, I was reading there. You've got to register with StreamYard. So once you register with StreamYard, as I say, your name comes up, and then I know who I'm speaking to. Okie doke. Yeah, right. Where were we? She was spiritual and healthy, and yep. Right, as I say, she was a thinker and a doer. That's the only way you can describe that. When she thought about something, as I say, she just got up and done it. She didn't go telling everyone what she was doing or anything else. That was just her. She's talking about, you have, right, there's either travel coming up, okay? You've got a decision to make about something about traveling. Right, tell me more, tell me more. Yeah, you've got a decision. You've got to make this decision off your own back. You can't. Hi Tracy. You can't. Someone else can't tell you what to do where this is concerned. Where this travel or something's concerned, you've got to make up your mind to do it. If that makes sense. Do you understand anything at all about travel, Lisa? As I said, there's a blinking lag. It's so annoying. So yeah, if you can answer about the travel, then as I say, once I can answer that, or you can answer that, or whatever, they usually drop more information in. So you still there, Lisa? Yep, you could take that. Brilliant. Okay, right. She's talking about like she's giving me what looks like a boat. So, and it's not a. It's, to me, it looks like a ferry boat. So it could be. It's certainly not a small boat, but I don't think it's a cruise boat. It looks to me more like a ferry boat, though I might be wrong. So I believe that this travel involves water. Okay. She's also talking about, it's about time that you went out and you enjoyed yourself. She's saying, you haven't, since the pandemic, you haven't been, not that you haven't been yourself, but you haven't been doing much, if that makes sense. You know, you could be doing more with your life, is what she's saying. So yeah, okay. Right, she's turning around and saying that she wants you to enjoy this journey. It does involve water. Water to me usually, right. If I was to say this symbolically, okay, at the minute she's talking about a journey and she's talking about water, obviously with a boat, okay. So we can either say that you're actually physically going on a journey on a boat, or we could turn around and say that there's like your spiritual journey, and the water would be your emotions, because water to me is emotions, if that makes sense. So she could be talking about water, your spiritual journey, and you dealing with your emotions at the moment. So either way, it's something to do with some sort of journey, if that makes sense to you, which I'm hoping it does. Okay, she's talking about a raggedy bear teddy bear, whatever a raggedy bear teddy bear is. That was the words that came into my head. If you can understand that, Lisa, I don't know if you had a raggy bear or raggedy bear as a child or what, but it's like some sort of memory. Okay. Okay. Right. She's showing this journey. She's showing me suitcases. So it's other, in other words, it's not the emotions and the water and everything else. That sort of journey. It's not your spiritual journey. It's actually a physical journey because she's showing me suitcases. Okay. Right. Well, I'll leave our love with you, Lisa, and remember, as I say, that there's a definite journey going on somewhere, and I'll leave her love with you. Yeah, I'm quite a private person with a small circle. It could be a spiritual journey. Okay, okay. Well, as I say, she's showing me suitcases. So whatever it is, if it's suitcases, you're either going on holiday or you're carrying baggage at the moment that you need to clear. So either way, as I say, works. So I'll leave her love with you, Lisa, and thank you so much for working with me. Okie doke. Right, let's have a look and go back up and see. Two ticks. Right. I'm just going back up to see who else was asking further up. Right, there was Lisa. Right, Alex. Are you still there, Alex? Oh, thank you, Natasha. Okay, Alex. Someone called just Alex. If you could say that you're here or not, please. And if you are, we'll go ahead and read you. And if you're not, I'll pick someone else. We'll try and get through as many of you as possible. Right, Alex hasn't answered. Okay, right, I'm back, and I think it was Alison Moody. Right, Alison Moody. Right, Alison Moody, if you're still there. Yes, you're there. Brilliant. Okie doke. Right, let's have a look and see. Right. Right. Okay. I have a gentleman, Alison, okay? And this man's given me a train. Now, I don't know if you've been on a train journey. He used to go on train journeys, or he just enjoyed trains in general, but he's given me, I've got a gentleman, and he's given me a train, and it's not even like it's an old-fashioned train. It's quite a modern-looking train that he's given me, which makes me think it's more of a train journey than someone liking trains, if that makes sense. Are you due to go on, or have you been on a train lately, Alison? Please. Any weird noises? It's my dog. She's a snuffler. Right, if you can, as I say, if you can answer, please, Alison. As I say, once you get answers, as I say, Spirit starts talking more, if that makes sense. So, do you understand a gentleman coming in? And as I say, he either liked trains or you've been on a train. Yes, been on lots of train journeys and maybe going on one. Brilliant. Okay, right. Right. What are you? Okay, right. This gentleman, I'd say, was in his 70s when he passed. Okay, and he's got a prominent nose. It's not a big nose, but it's like a prominent nose. It's one of the first things you notice on his face, if that makes sense. Okay, he's given me white hair and bald. Okay, he's given me like bald on the top here, and as I say, white hair around here. I don't believe he wore a cap. I might be wrong, but I don't believe he wore a cap. This gentleman, I believe, smoked because I'm getting the smell of smoke. I'm getting that he wore. I want to say like thick cotton trousers, and there was like a pleat down the front. It's like the only way I can describe it is I don't think I've ever seen trousers like it before. There's like just down the front, either side, next to the zip bit, there's like two pleats, and he's showing me those for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because the trousers are different, if that makes sense. And they've also got a turn up at the bottom. You used to visit him on a train. Oh, that's Natasha. Okay. Right. as I say, Alison, if you could, as I say, I believe he was a smoker. I'm not seeing him with a cigarette, but I'm definitely, if he didn't smoke, he was around people that smoke, because there's a definite smell of cigarette smoke off him, if that makes sense. He's also got, he wore a shirt, and as I say, and these trousers with the pleats in for some reason, and turned up. Yes, I've seen the pleats. Can't think of who it is though. Okay, right. As I say, this gentleman had white hair just round the side here and bald at the top. As I say, I can't see him with a cap on. What else? I can see him with a cup of tea in his hand. This man loved his cup of tea. He loved nothing more than just sitting down, having a cup of tea and a biscuit. And it was a plain biscuit, something like rich tea or something like that. He's also given me tea fingers, you know, the long tea fingers. So as I say, he was a plain man. He wasn't fancy. He didn't demand like fancy cakes and things like that. A plain biscuit and a cup of tea done him. He's also showing me that he poured the tea out into the saucer and drank it out the saucer as well. So that was, I haven't seen anyone doing that for a lot of years. So as I say, that's going back quite a few years. Okay, you can take tea fingers. Okay, as I say, okay, this man, I want to say he was quite musical, and I don't mean that he just enjoyed music. He could actually play. Take drinking out of a saucer. Yep. As I say, he could actually play. I don't know if it's an organ, piano. I can see his fingers going. That's what's making me think it's more like a piano or an organ or something like that. I can also see, I'm sure he's given me a church reference, because he's given me a cross. So I'm sure he used to go to maybe Sunday service or something once a week, or he was maybe part of the church, because it seems quite important to him, if that makes sense. Maybe he was an organist or something in the church. I can definitely see his fingers going, if that makes sense. I'm connecting the two, and I might be wrong, but there's definitely, as I say, church connections and music connections with him. He's also shown me he was pretty proud of his garden, and he had a little garden. He didn't have a big garden. He had a little garden, and he was quite proud of just these little bits and bobs of flowers and things like that. As I say, yes, cross, and he made tapestries, biblical. Perfect. Okay. As I say, there's definite church connections. Okay, and as I say, he liked pottering about in his garden. As I say, he didn't. It wasn't a big garden, he's telling me, but it done him, if that makes sense. It was more of a hobby than anything else, that he just enjoyed pottering about in the garden. He was also good, he's telling me, with a paintbrush. And I don't mean, I think maybe what. Oh, am I getting this right? I don't think it was by trade. I think it was just he liked pottering about in the house and tidying up the house, and so he's just showing me with a paintbrush in his hand. Yes, and gardening. Yeah. As I say, he just liked everything. He just liked to be doing something. His mind had to be busy, if that makes sense. Because he's saying if his mind wasn't busy, his mind would wander. And he said he just liked to be. He just liked to know what he was doing, if that makes sense. Okay, he's making me aware of my stomach. Okay, so I believe the gentleman has stomach issues, and I believe that was more towards the end of his life. And he's also given me May and September as significant dates for either a birth, passing, anniversary. So if you can understand May and September, Alison. He's also drawn my attention to, there's a photograph of, I believe, him. I think this photograph's black and white, okay, and I'm sure it's of him with a young child, which makes me think that it might be May's mum's birthday and September's my birthday. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, he's making me aware of a photograph, okay, and it's like a black and white photograph, and he's standing, holding the hand, or is it holding hand? There's a young child in the photograph anyway, and it makes me wonder why he's showing me this photograph. I think, could it be maybe you or your mum in this photograph of him, because he looks quite young in this photograph. Okay. Okay, and he's talking about, was there a dog in the family? Was there a dog in the family? Because I'm just hearing dog barking, like in the distance, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering if there was a dog connection. Yes, a dog. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I couldn't tell you what kind of dog it is because I'm not seeing it. I'm hearing it. So this was quite a, I want to say a mouthy dog, a yappy sort of dog, because as I say, you heard it before you saw it, and that's what he's making me aware of, if that makes sense. He's also making me aware of there was cats, or a cat. I think it was cats with plural, because he's showing me sources of milk. Okay. Okay, right. Sources of milk, and he just wants to say how everything was so different back then. There was like a community that, yeah, you have cats. Okay, as I say, he's showing me the sources of milk. Not that you give cats milk or cow's milk anyway, but that's what he's showing me. As I say, but he's talking about how things were different back then. How there was a community and everyone helped each other and everything else, and this is coming through, like this is part of the message. Basically, he's talking about there is no community nowadays, if that makes sense, and you don't know if your neighbour's needing help, you wouldn't really know it. And this is what he's saying. Right, I want to get this correct. Yeah, he's talking about years ago, as I say, everyone helped each other, and no one would go hungry or no one would go without, because everyone rallied round, if that makes sense. And he's if I'm picking him up correctly, he's telling me that a neighbour of yours or someone around your area is actually going without at the moment. There's someone in your area. I don't think it's in your family. I actually think it's because he's talking about community, which makes me think it's in your area, that is going without at the moment. And it's they have children and they're not going to have the best Christmases, is what he's saying. Why are you telling me that? Why are you telling me that? He wants you to go and knock on their door, Alison. He wants you to go and, I don't know if he wants you to knock on your door. He wants you to help these people. I hope I'm getting this across right. He's talking about there's a family in your area that hasn't got much, and the kids won't get very, very little, if that makes sense. And he's saying he just wants you, for some reason, he wants you to be aware of that, and I don't know the reason, to be perfectly honest with you. He just keeps saying about this family, and the community is not the same as it used to be. Everyone used to rally around. There used to be no kids going without, and there's someone in your area that could do with that community help, if that makes sense. So I don't know if he's wanting you to go seeing them or what, but he's just wanting to make you aware of them, if that makes sense. I don't know if how you can help them. I don't know, but this is what you think you know who it is. Okay, right. And he's just all he keeps saying is help them. You help them, and it will come back to you tenfold, is what he's saying. So as I say, not everyone will accept help. That's my input of it, if that makes sense. But what he's saying is he wants you to be aware of it and to offer help for them, if that makes sense. But as I say, some people you offer them help and it's like, no, but I don't know the people, I don't know the situation. But all he's saying, he wants you to be aware of it, and he wants to, if you can help them, to do it, Alison. He's saying because that's what was happened years ago in his community, and he just wishes the community was like that now. He gets that it's not, but that's what he's talking about. Right. Well, I'll leave his love with you, Alison. That was sort of a, I don't want to say a weird one if that makes sense, but it's like he's really, it's like he really cares about everyone else, if that makes sense, and he wants you to be aware of this family. So as I say, if you can help them, do it. There's no harm in it, is there? So I will leave his love with you, and thank you so much for working with me, Alison. Okie doke. Right. His he's still here. I can feel him in my, he's got a really warm heart about him. Right. Right. Joanne Lewis. If you're still here, Joanne, right, I'm going to have to give you my cards this time because you're still here. Okay, right, Joanne Lewis. Oh, I'll throw in my new comments. Brilliant, Joanne, you're here. That's good. That's good. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Right, Joanne, have you got someone in the spirit world? And I want to say he was in his maybe 50s when he passed, and he enjoyed going on a motorbike, and I'm seeing him with a moustache and a beard, but not a big beard, like not a big beard, but certainly not stubble, if that makes sense. Maybe about an inch or so down. He's quite dark, and he's showing me a baldish head. So he's got hair on his face, but none on his head. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Right, where are we? Joanne. Does that make sense to you? Someone in the spirit world who enjoyed going on a motorbike. I don't think it was a motorbike that took him over. In fact, I don't think it was any sort of accident that took him over. I might be wrong, but I'm not getting that feeling at all. Do you understand that, Joanne? Not at the moment. Okay. Okay. He's given me the name Bert, and he's given me the name Dave or David. Don't know if you can take any of those names. If you can, let me know. Okay, right. He was a. He's telling me he was a biker from the day he was old enough to ride a bike. That's all he was on. He wasn't interested in driving or anything else. He was interested in his bike, and that was it. He said that he went to a lot of, I don't know what you call them, motorbike rallies or motorbike. You can take the Robert and David. Okay, okay. But you can't take the motorbike. That's weird. Right, let me carry on. Right, as I say, he went to a lot of, I don't know if you call them bike rallies. It's like they travel for miles on a bike or whatever, and they like a gala fete thing that's it's all about bikes, if you know what I mean. I think it is a rally. So he's talking about going to those. Maybe I'll just take this man. Okay, okay, right, right, okay, right. Let's keep going. Right, he, as I say, bald head, moustache, beard. It was originally dark, but as I say, there's grey growing through it. Excuse me. He was into his leather biker jackets and whatnot. I'm seeing him. He looks to me like a classic Hell's Angel, but I don't think he is. If that makes, I may be wrong, but he looks like to me with the leather jacket and the, as I say, the cut off denim jacket and whatnot, and like it's got Lemmy on the back. That's what I'm seeing. The word Lemmy, which is a singer, I think. So yeah, I think he was a friend a long time ago. Okay, okay, right. We're getting somewhere. Right. Well, as I say, motorbikes basically was his life. But he was a gentle soul. He liked his rock music, and he liked any sort of music really, but he liked his rock music. As I say, he liked his motorbikes. He likes a pint of beer, and he liked his game of snooker and whatnot. But he wasn't a troublemaker. He was like a gentle soul. That was just his way of life, if that makes sense. That's where he's telling me that even growing up, he was different. He always felt different. And once he got his motorbike and got into, like made friends with other guys like him, that's where he felt at home, if that makes sense. Okay, you had to ride the back of his bike, brilliant. As I say, he was at home with sort of these other men who all sort of I felt the same, who was all grew up um, who grew up feeling different is what he's saying. And there was none of them bad. None of them. They used to curse and swear and laugh and joke and was loud in the pub or whatever. But there was none of them bad, if that makes sense. They were all good-hearted people, and he was one of the best. Is what I'm getting from him. He would help anyone. I mean, he'd stop his bike and help an old woman across the street. That was his type. Right, why have you come through? Why have you come through? Right, I believe his mum's still alive. Would you know his mum, Joanne? Kind-hearted soul, yeah. Would you know his mum? Because he's talking about his mum, and I'm getting the distinct impression she's still here. And he's quite worried about her. She would be elderly. She would be, I want to say she'd be in her 80s. You don't know his mum, okay? Why have you come through then? He's talking about his mum, and he's talking about her not being, her not keeping the best of health, if that makes sense. Unless your mum's not keeping the best of health, would that be correct, Joanne? There's someone's mum not keeping the best of health, and I want to say she's in her 80s, late 70s, maybe early 80s, that sort of way. Yeah, she's still here, his mum. Okay, right, I'm getting confused now. Right, so, right, Joanne. Right, Joanne, is your mum still here? Okay. Right, as I say, whoever this is, he's talking about an elderly woman who I believe to be someone's mum, whether it's his mum or your mum, I'm not sure. At the end of the day, as I say, yep, my mum not in best health and in her 80s. Right, that's what I'm trying to say, Joanne. He's worried about someone who's in their 80s, as I say, late 70s, early 80s, who I thought was his mum to start with. Then I thought I heard the word no, and that's when I says, "Is it your mum?" Okay, right. She's not keeping the best of health. Okay, what he's coming to say is to look after her, to cherish the memories, keep happy, make some more happy memories with her, even if it's just sitting with her and laughing and joking and reminiscing about the old times, is what he's saying. He's saying because these memories live on forever, is what he's saying basically. Um, as I say, he's coming across. He's such a kind. I even want to say a simple soul in the fact that it's the simple things that made him happy, if that makes sense. And that's what he's trying to put across, that it's the simple things in life, like sitting with your mum, as I say, just sitting, holding her hand maybe, and joking with her and reminiscing with her, and just getting her to talk about like the happy times in her life, to give you the memories of what she was like when she was little, when she was younger, just to give you a more what's he trying to say, just to give you more of an understanding of who your mum was before she had kids, when she was young. And that's what he wants. And he said that's what he missed out with his mum, and he wants that for you, if that makes sense. As I say, the man, he's so kind and simple, and I don't mean simple mean simple. I mean he's just a simple soul who likes who always liked the the simple things in life, and that's what he's saying. Don't take for granted the simple things, because it's the simple things that make life, if that makes sense. So what he's trying to say is love your mum while she's here and make those memories, so that you've got that to look back on. And I hope that made some sort of sense, and I hope I done his message justice, because as I say, he's such a lovely man. So I'll leave his love with you, Joanne, and thank you so much. Yeah, he does have a beautiful heart. As I say, he's very, I can just feel, I don't know, love all around me, if that makes sense. It's just, he's lovely. But thank you so much for taking him. Right. Where am I? Right, Tracy Hand. I'm trying to work down them. Tracy Hand, if you're still here. Right, hang on, there's new comments. I'm missing them. Oh, you're welcome, Joanne. That's lovely. Thank you. Right, Tracy. Let's have a look and see if I can. Right, let's have a look and see. Right, okay. I don't know what half of these cards mean. What on earth is cornucopia? I have no idea. But it don't matter. Right, where was I? Tracy. Right. Right, Tracy. I'm not sure who's coming through, but I was going to say, yeah, she. So it's a lady, right? But she's telling me you have a child or a grandchild, and I believe it's a little boy that's on the spectrum, or you're aware of a child on the spectrum. Does that make sense to you, Tracy? She's talking about a child that needs extra love, extra attention, extra yeah, extra love, extra attention. Okay, right. Right, what you want to say about him? And who are you? Who are you? Okay, I believe this is your grandmother, or a. I want to say grandmother, but to be perfectly honest, I haven't got that closeness. So could it be a step grandmother, or a grandmother that you weren't very close to? She was there, but you weren't that close to her, if that makes sense. Because I'm getting a bit of a divide, so I don't know if that means that there's not a blood relation, or yes, grandmother. Okay, I just don't feel that. I don't feel that she was as close as the other grandmother, if that makes sense. I hope that makes some sort of sense. I might be picking it up completely wrong, but that's what I'm getting anyway. Okay, right. But she's talking about having to bring all your love and common sense. She's given me common sense as well. So you need to bring all your love and your common sense to the surface to help deal with this child. Does that make sense, Tracy? She's saying that he can be, yes, he can be a bit of a handful and everything else, but he can also be very loving when he wants to. I don't think I picked that last bit up right. He can be, yes, he can be very loving, but there's a but, and I'm not right. As long as you're understanding it, okay. This lady that's speaking, did she, towards the end of her, in fact, I don't even think it's towards the end of her life, did she have problems? I don't want to say problems speaking, but did she like think about what she said before she said it? You know how some people just open their mouth and talk? I believe that she was quite, I want to say calculated, but that doesn't sound very nice. But what I mean by that is she thought about what she said before she said it. because it's like I'm getting a distinct, normally spirit put it into my head and straight out my mouth, and it's like I'm getting a, not a blockage, but it's like, think about what you say before it comes out, if that makes sense. And I'm trying not to interfere with what is coming in before it comes out, because if I interfere with the message or think about it, it comes out wrong, and I don't want that. So that's why I'm quiet every so often, just to. But that's what she's reminding me of. It just reminds me of someone who really thinks about what they say before they open their mouth. It's like she's not scared to put her foot in it, but in fact, I get the distinct, yeah, in a funny sort of way, she was always, I want to say, under the thumb. And I want to say it like she always had to think twice about opening her mouth. And I think that comes from her childhood. It comes from, it does, that's what she's saying. I'm getting it right. She's saying it comes from her childhood when children were seen but not heard, if that makes sense. So she always thought before she opened her mouth, because that's the way she was brought up, if that makes sense. So yes, and I don't mean under the thumb that she was bullied or anything else. I just mean that, as I say, she came from an era children were seen and not heard. So she got to the stage in life where she really thought about what she said before she opened her mouth, if that makes sense. So right, she's talking about, does the name Toby mean anything to you? It might mean nothing at all, but it's been dropped into my head. Now, I don't know if that's maybe a pet, it could be a name, it could be Toby, Toby, yeah. As I say, I was just checking it was that, is what she's saying. She's given me the name Toby. And she's also, right, what months? August, November, and January, February. So I'm talking late January, early February. August, November, and the beginning of the year for births, deaths, anniversaries. Does that, you're not sure on Toby? Okay. I don't know if it was a pet. You know that. I'm not quite sure if it was a dog or not. But anyway, what was I saying? August, November, and the beginning of the year, January, February time for births, anniversary, and birth, anniversary, or death. Does that make any sense to you, Tracy? Yes, to the months. Fantastic. Thank you. Right, she's telling me that she fed stray cats. Again, I had a reading earlier on, and I had saucers of milk, and she's given me saucers of milk, but she's given me like a line of saucers of milk, and it's outside. So to me, that's saying that she fed stray cats. Okay, right. She fed stray cats. What else did she do? What else are you going to tell me? Right, she lived on. She's showing me her street, okay, and she lived on a street when the front door opened up straight onto the pavement. Does that? You feed foxes, okay? As I say, it's lines of there's 3 or 4 things of milk. Is what she's showing me, like saucers of milk. Right, she's showing me this house, as I say, and the front door, it opens onto the main street, with a step going down. So she's obviously showing me, as I say, at one point where she lived. She's also showing me it was on a hill. It was like she's walking sort of uphill to get to her front door. Right, why are you showing me that? Okay, she's telling me it was a struggle going home with the shopping and whatnot, because there was no drivers in the house. Would that be clever reading of drawing? Yeah, it did open onto the main street. Yeah, I don't think there was drivers in the house. She certainly didn't drive anyway. And she's saying about, as I say, walking up up the hill with shopping was tough going, basically, is what she's saying. But she's saying, but needs must. You just do these things. Um, Although, as I say, she was glad to get home and sit down on the sofa with a cup of tea and that. It was hard up the hill. But as she just said, that was the times, and you just do that. And she'd go shopping sort of. You didn't go shopping once a week. You went down to the corner shop, as I say, daily to get your fresh food, if that makes sense. So yeah, right. She's talking about food, right, and that's coming into the message for you, Tracy. Right, tell me the message. Have you got a specialised diet? Have you got a specialised diet, as in? Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. As in, you're either vegetarian, vegan, or you don't take gluten, or there's something about your diet, is what she's saying. Can you understand anything? You're vegetarian. Perfect. Okay. Right. Because she's laughing and saying there was no such thing in her day. You ate what you was given, basically. Okay. Do you? I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything else, but she's talking about supplementing because you're missing out on something. You're missing out on some sort of, I don't know if it's nutrients, what you'd get in meat or maybe iron or something. I don't know, but she's talking about that you're you're not getting everything in your diet at the moment. Although, as I say, you're maybe vegetarian, but you're still you're missing out on something, and it's showing up like, as I say, maybe tiredness or fatigue, or you don't like vegetables and you're a vegetarian. Okay. Maybe that's what she's talking about. Okay. So she's saying you're definitely missing something out on your diet. She says, and you live on omelets. Well, that's not good for you, Tracy. Okay. So she's obviously correct. There is something wrong. Yeah, you're always tired. Yes, that's what she's saying. She's saying you're fatigued and she says you haven't even got the same strength that you did have, if that makes sense. You know, when you go to like open a bottle or whatever, she says you've really got to fight with the bottle to get it open. She says you just haven't got the same sort of strength as you did have. So she's saying, and it's down to your diet, is what she's saying. She's saying, as I say, it's not like our times when you basically you ate what you was given, and if you didn't, you went without. But what she's saying is, as I say, I'm not a doctor or anything else, but she is saying to either sort your diet out or supplement it. Basically, she says because you're suffering with it. It's not making you feel any better. You're suffering if you're always tired and you're only eating omelets. So yeah, right. She's talking about your diet, and she's also saying that, right, she's given me the green-eyed monster. Now the green-eyed monster obviously is jealousy. So there's either someone that's jealous around you of you, or right, why are you bringing jealousy in? Yeah, someone around you is jealous of you, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can understand that, Tracy, but that's what she's saying. She's saying someone around you is I want to say. Tell me why they're jealous. Why are they jealous? Why are they jealous? You have something that they want, and it's not a physical thing. It's not a material thing. It's like your positivity or you're just the way you are. They're actually jealous of, if that makes sense, is what she's saying. So she's just saying, watch out for that. What if you get a hint that someone's jealous of you? She's saying, go with it. She says because you'll be correct, is what she's saying. So, right, I'll leave our love with you, Tracy, and thank you so much for working with me. So thank you. Right, let's have a look. I can do. Right, where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Right, Sarah Batchelor, are you still there? in let's have a look. Susan, if you get eat corn, Tracy, that's meat substitute. Yeah, yeah, it's protein and whatnot. That's, as I say, that's making her tired, or the lack of something that's making her tired. As I say, I'm not vegetarian, so I don't know, but I am. I am celiac and gluten free, and that's what she made me aware of. It was the diet that was coming through. Right. Okay. Well, that's 8 o'clock anyway, so I'm going to have to get going, I think. But I think Stace should come on in a minute and say who's on later. So I want to thank you all for supporting me as per usual. And I'll get going. But you can pop over to my page because I do lives on my page, and it's at Sarah Mcgeachy Medium. It's Mcgeachy, Sarah Mcgeachy Medium. As I say, I do lives over there. So if you come over and like the page, it'll come up when I do lives as well. And thank you so much for supporting me. Okie dokie. Right. Bye bye.